All right, here in round one, we can keep this hand. Got our main colors. Could find a 2-drop if we don't. We've got the mysteries into potentially our 4-drop, so it seems fine to me. Okay. Nice thing is Priest can't tap our, and now we've got the nice 2-card combo here. Priest can't tap down our Survivalist, which is quite nice. Usually you want to just get your mysteries online ASAP. As soon as you have the opportunity to play it, just play it. So I think we're actually going to play it before the Bloodbriar, unless there's some emergency creature that I need to attempt to block. Okay. What's he sacking? Sacking his red mana. Okay. All right. Okay, so we can play the fork now. If we play the fork, it guarantees that we get to play our Survivalist next turn. But a Survivalist can't really reliably block the horror. The fact that my opponent's down to... I think we're going to take the hit for 4 here to get the mysteries down. Because then at worst I can cast Bloodbriar. At best I can cast Survivalist. Or even at best I can cast Lurker in a pinch. Like, Lurker... put Extricator on top of his deck, like that's a huge setback. Wait, I was going to cast Mysteries. I accidentally cast Bloodbriar. That was a mistake. Well, if he's proactively tapping, I guess that's okay. Why did he sack his red mana? So we got our 4th mana, so I guess we can do Survivalist now. What does that leave me next turn? Next turn I can go Fork plus Mysteries, and that still maximizes mana, so okay. We'll do that. Still a little bit confused why he sacked the red mana. Now he's not attacking with the horror. Well, that's good for us. Ooh, we can do captive too. Well, I still think we're doing the fork plan, so let's get our black mana and then play a mysteries. Guess we'll dump a green mana. So I can trade my Survivalist for a horror. He's got 2 cards left. I think it's actually pretty beneficial to us. Like, it's going to net us card advantage. We've got the late game we need to get this now. It's going to buff our Bloodbriar. We're not taking damage. Okay, so we play the land. We get our 6th land, which means we can go captive plus Survivalist. That seems pretty good. Let's do that. Just get some bodies out there. Buy in time, buy in time. He can tap 2 of our guys, but that's not a huge deal. So we want to make sure Wolfkin Bond goes on Survivalist if it's going to go on anything, because he can tap basically any of our other creatures. I could have just played these guys post-combat, but I mean, I imagine he still would have. So I could actually get Delirium now. It doesn't really do that much for us, so I guess we'll just ditch the land. I mean, it could get us Survivalist, but I'd rather play the Wolfkin Bond pretty clearly. So he only has land. If one of his artifact guys die, he's going to get artifact and creature, but we can always Lashweed Lurker away his Extricator, make him sack another permanent, although I don't even know if that's super detrimental to him. I guess that keeps us from potentially hardcasting our Lurker, but still not a huge deal. I could have actually just tapped in response to crack the clue, and then I still could have cast the Wolfkin Bond. I didn't think about that. That's okay. I guess instead, well, we still get to crack the clue and do the Wolfkin Bond, so I guess we'll do that. I'll crack the clue, even though it's basically taking away the surprise element about the Bloodbriar. Okay. So I can cast the Wolfkin Bond on the Survivalist. I can swing for with a 6/5. You can block with a Wicker Witch and a Field Creeper, though. He still won't have Delirium, but, well, I think we get pretty good value out of it. We get Delirium. We get to draw another card. And we still have another pretty big win condition. I mean, I just want to get Delirium, but let's do this. It's more of a 2 for 2, so maybe we wait one turn, but the reason I did it is I wanted to just maximize my mana. I mean, we're sitting behind a pretty nice wall right now, so let's just chill out. There's nothing we need to immediately worry about. And as soon as we get our Delirium going, should be fine. Okay. It's got a couple flyers. We're not terribly concerned about that. Mutation. Well, actually, Mutation's pretty good. Yeah, Mutation's pretty nice. And he didn't tap our Captive either. Let's play the land, because we want to be able to flip Captive if he and still play Mutation. I guess we can already, can't we? So maybe we do sandbag this for the Sanitarium. Let's just attack with our Survivalist. Taking it, okay. Huh. So we can play the Lashweed Lurker, we can just hardcast it, or we can flip our Captive. I mean, we definitely want to put a card on top of his deck. We also want to flip the Captive too, though. So for now, let's just pass. I don't have anything that requires the emergency of Lashweed Lurker. All right, so in response, we're going to transform. Still leaving the mutation up. He is a creature card away from flipping his Extricator. Artifact and a creature, because he has 2 card types. Swinging with everything, so he must have the Borrowed Grace. Okay. Does that mean we're dead to Borrowed Grace? That I'm unsure of. Let's just block his biggest guy. I mean, he's attacking with everything, so it's got to be Borrowed Grace. Let's see what that means. I have the mutation as well. So we're taking 3, 5, 8, plus 4, 12, plus 3, 15, 18. So I can live, but I got to block his 2 biggest guys. And then I have to mutation, I guess, one of his spirits. Is there any way I can crack back for lethal? I don't think so. If I just block with the soldier, it is lethal, right? Okay. So I don't think I'm dead like this, but we're pretty close. So he's going to Borrowed Grace. I don't think we're going to die, though. So we have to mutation a flyer. So we take 3, 6, 8, 11. We go to 5. We're still surprisingly okay, considering. So we have Cultist. How close are we with 13? He's at 16. I need to deal an additional 3 damage. I don't think I can. And if he proactively taps, it means I probably need to get in for 7, play the Cultist and the Lurker, and get rid of a priest. I wish I could get... A way to get Delirium is... I can sack the Mysteries, actually, to get Delirium so we have Trample for next turn that he can't tap. We might actually need that, now that I think about it. So, can we play our entire hand out here, I guess is the question. We have 7, 8 mana. Like I said, I can sack the Mysteries to get Delirium to get an extra point of damage in. It also... Wait, no, I can't sack this. What am I talking about? I can sack the Survivalist, but I can't just to get Delirium. That's not going to work. I mean, if I sack the Cultist, I get to draw a card and pump this. Basically, I have to attack with these 2, I think, and leave the Survivalist back. Does that leave me dead? He's going to be able to get in for 1, 3, 4, 5 at most, right? Because this is not going to flip. And I want a Lurker to get rid of one of his priests, so then he would have to use a priest on his turn to be able to even get in with his ground guys, which means he can only attack with his flyer. So I guess if we're going to sack a creature, I'd rather it be a non-human so I can still attack with them, but the Cultist lets me draw a card and pump the Bloodbriar, so it makes a little more sense. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage he can swing back with, which means 2 of his guys have to be blocked. Which does mean I think I have to keep back the Survivalist if I have to block 2 ground guys. I really want to get a Trample. It's just difficult right now. But if I keep 2 guys back, they have to be 2 humans as well. I have to be able to... It's not I have to keep 2 guys back. I have to be able to block with 2 guys. But I guess, yeah. So that means even if I lurk away a priest, I have to be able to block 2 guys. So I guess that means I probably have to sack the Bloodbriar and then get rid of... Although, alternatively, I can get rid of a Wicker Witch, and then he can only smash for 2, 3, 4, 5, so he can't tap the Survivalist, so he can't kill me. So maybe we just get rid of the Wicker Witch and then we're not worried about damage. That kind of makes sense. Okay. So in that respect, I can sack the Cultist. But I want to do it before attack so I can pump my Bloodbriar. So let's go land, Cultist. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. So I Lurker away this. I put this on top of his deck. I leave back the Survivalist. At most, he can crack in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. But I have a blocker for the 2-power guy, which means at most he can only get in for 3 points of damage. Yeah, so let's do Lurker now. I guess we'll leave up the blue in case we draw another mutation, which would be nice. So let's lurk away the Wicker Witch. We could have done the Spirit token to get Delirium. We still would have been, I think, 1 short of lethal. Is that right? Because the mutation would have gone to our graveyard. That is true. So if I swing with these two, say he taps. What if I attack with everything and he taps my Lurker? You can only get in for 4, actually. But he can get, no, he can upkeep, but this is at the beginning of your upkeep. So he can't upkeep Gyre Reach Sanitarium to turn this into a dude. So maybe I can attack with everything. Let me think. He proactively taps my Lurker. That's not going to be good enough. So maybe we do attack with everything. I think this works. And I mean, if he has a combat trick or anything else, I wasted a lot of time. But this was a turn I need to really make sure I'm maximizing. So I attack with everything. He proactively, on his turn, taps my Lurker, gets in for 4 points of damage, 1 short of lethal, which means we live. Okay. Or if he attacks with everything, I can block the 2-power guy, and I only take 3 damage. So yeah, this should work. I don't think I'm miscounting. I mean, it really does come down to Exactsies here, but... And like I said, any combat trick or removal, and I wasted a lot of time, but I wanted to make sure I did that turn as best as possible. And like I said, it may have been in our best interest to bounce the Spirit to get Delirium, but then I wouldn't have been able to attack my Survivalist in that direction if I took that path. Okay. So if I can find a way to get Delirium, we can do this. Ooh, Thraben Gargoyle's not bad. Let's see here. We have 4, 7, 8 mana, so I can do the Gargoyle and I can flip it, but I can't play the Druid. So let's crack the clue, because I want to still see if I can get Delirium here. Surprise Delirium would be the best. Ooh, Nebelgast Herald. I can tap his Vleidenpack Outcast. That's pretty excellent. So let's see what he taps. I mean, he has to block everything we attack with. I guess that means he's going to be able to... Let's see. Can I tap this? No, but I need to play Herald on his turn. All right. So remember, everything I attack with, he has to block. So if we attack with these three, he has to block all three. I can still play Herald and Gargoyle, so I can block that. All right. Let's do this. Attack with all three. He's going to have to block all three. He gives us Delirium if he blocks with that. I don't know how much that adds. But I can actually play Druid, Gargoyle, and Herald, which is pretty amazing. And him having to block all three of these things is certainly relevant here. Yeah. Okay. Kill all that. Now we have Delirium. So we play the Gargoyle, play the Druid, we leave up the Herald and pass. So we just have to make sure his Trampler gets tapped so we can at least chump block. And I admit, I've used a lot of time. That one turn probably cost me 3 minutes, but I was trying to maximize. It was the kind of the game defining turn there. So we know he's got a Wicker Witch as one of his cards in his hand. And he can only tap our Gargoyle, so I mean, as long as we untap, I don't think we can easily lose. Even Repel the Abominable is not going to stop our Trampler. I'll pause it. All right, looks like he's going to use the Sanitarium, so we don't have to play the Herald. We just probably have to discard whatever we draw here. Likely discarding whatever we draw. But that's a good sign. It means he's digging. All right, Watcher's gone. All right, so opponent's casting Choking Restraints. They're tapped out, so this should be fine now. Move to combat, play the Herald, tap the Outcast, and that should be that. All right. All right. So we got there. So he's got a Choking Restraints. He's got a Borrowed Grace. Is there any other enchantment we saw that's worth bringing in Root Out for? I'm not sure if Root Out's going to be worth it for Choking Restraints, especially in a deck like ours that actually has Lashweed Lurkers. Clip Wings looks like it's only going to be able to take out small tokens. We also have Double Watcher in the web, so we should be fairly... The Watcher should be really good against him, I imagine, because he's got a lot of sort of little piddly guys. Although, then again, he's got multiple Sigardian Priests, which are very good against our deck. Thankfully, we have some humans, but we don't have a ton. So those Priests are going to be a big problem. I guess it's nice that Mysteries, Cultists, and Survivalists are all humans. That is nice. And our one Primal Druid. We could actually bring in another Primal Druid, but... I mean... I don't know if I'm in love with that. But Priests are just going to be good against us. There's not much we can do against about that. Outside of splashing Murder, which I don't think is going to happen. I could bring in more humans, like I said, but I don't love that. I need to see more flyers before Clip Wings becomes an option. And only one Choking Restraints does not seem worth it for Root Out. So I guess we're going to stick to the same plan and hopefully make it work again, albeit at a quicker pace this time, which was my fault, but I'll try and be quicker. All right, this is a clear mulligan. This one will keep. We need green mana pretty bad, but, well, I mean, I want that, but we need green mana more than we need a Geist of the Archives at the moment. Gonna have to be a bit quicker on my turns. I am subject to more mistakes when I do that, but no choice here. If we have to go to game 3, I want to have as much time as possible. Alright, we need to play a spell here. Green mana would be ideal. Alright, we're in a bit of trouble already. I mean, if I draw a green mana, I still don't get to play 2 spells, do I? So if I draw green mana now, do I want to play the Fork? I probably want to play the Primal Druid, so I can at least block and maybe get another land. Okay, so if I play the Primal Druid, he attacks, he taps the Druid maybe. Well, I think we got to play Druid here. Fork in the Road's not going to do it. Splash color came back to haunt us a little bit there. Although it was going to be an island anyway, so I guess we would have just had 2 blue instead. I mean, I guess one positive aspect of dying here from a Borrowed Grace is that we should have enough time for game 3. Okay. Wait, are we dead? Yeah, we're dead. Okay. All right. Well, after all that, decision making in game 1, all that hard concentration, we end up losing like that in game 2. That is the beauty of Magic in a vacuum. All right, I mean, he's got a lot of X1s. Do I just want to bring in Consecrators, or is that just like hindsight thinking based on how badly I lost there? It probably is hindsight thinking. I think we're actually fine. We just need to actually play lands every turn and play spells. So let's try it again. All right, game 3 we'll play first. Yeah, we can keep this. The nice thing about this hand is the grapple can get us our 3rd land if we need it. And it'll feed our spontaneous mutation, so can at least set up for a bit of soft removal till we can get something online here. Opponent mulligans, keeps at 6. All right, got the land. So I guess there's an argument to wait on grapple till my turn because I'm not exactly sure what I need yet, but I probably just want the land. Well, guess that's easily answered. All right. Don't think that we're ready to play mutation just yet. I think we want mutation on that. All right, let's get Mr. Survivalist down. Could have played the Cultist, but I don't think we're in an Omega rush for this Lurker yet. All right. I think we're going to swing with open mana into the Wicker Witch and the Steadfast Cathar. All right. All right. I'd rather kill the Steadfast Cathar if he has Borrowed Grace. Seems fine. I mean, I'd kill them both. All right. I think I'm pretty well okay with this. We get Delirium. He's still 2 for 1'd himself. Keep that in mind. So we can actually play the Cultist here into the Lurker for whatever he's got. Yeah, that seems pretty brutal, actually. Like, the Watcher makes much better use of mana, but just the fact that we're going to go Cultist into Lurker for whatever his play is just such a big setback for him. It's such a crippling setback. Like, especially if he plays Extricator here, because then I can actually bounce the Extricator after he sacked the land. All right, that's fine, too. Oh, well, perfectly fine now. Let's do the same plan as before. Lurker for days. Refuses to make a play, I see. Necropod, yeah, that's a pretty big game, as LSV always says. Our opponent getting land screwed here is pretty beneficial. So if you got the choking restraints, no problem. We've got ourselves a nice emerge target. Guess we can sack the black mana. Sure. Okay. I can put the restraints on top of his library. if I lose the Watcher, and then I can swing for 7. Is that even good? I mean, it's pretty good. He has to recast, or yeah, then he's just dead. That seems good to me. Let's do that. So let's sack the Watcher in the web, pay 2, put the restraints on top of his deck. So he has to draw that, which means he's going to remain mana screwed. Play the Gargoyle. Swing for 7, sack a tapped land. Guess we can sack something here. Alright, guess we'll sack a wolf. Sure. All right. Well, after an exciting game 1, we had a pretty uneventful game 2 and 3. And we ended up getting the victory. So a little bit of mana screw from a color screw in us from game 2, and then mana screw from our opponent in game 3, ultimately getting us the victory. So very good. All right, we'll see you in round 2.